Starting in the cannabis conversation where it starts, Capital District Cannabis Consortium, Americans for Cannabis, New York for Cannabis is a homegrown movement dedicated to promoting the honest education about cannabis and the full repeal of cannabis prohibition. Our main goal is to provide evidence-based information to the citizens of America about the benefits of this untapped, sustainable, and once vital natural resource so that they can make informed decisions for themselves. We, the people, demand that cannabis be exempted from the DEA's Controlled Substances Act and all federal, state, and local criminal and civil penalties be repealed and nullified. Our mission is to educate the community about the true history and facts about cannabis and to promote the descheduling and exemption of cannabis from the DEA's Controlled Substances Act. Our goal is to prevent any new taxes for cannabis or cannabis-specific taxes. After all, every industry is already taxed and regulated. We are here to reclaim and secure the rights of the people and to support the people's right to garden all of the natural plants of the earth. We are here to promote and support state and federal nullification and to educate people and promote jury nullification. We support and promote the release of all of our people from the prisons that bind them and to expose the corruption in law enforcement and the building of a police state made possible through prohibition. Thanks for watching Capital Cannabis. Today's episode, we're going to be discussing the 2016 New York City Cannabis Parade, where I will be speaking on the full repeal of cannabis prohibition as well as jury nullification. This event is going to take place in New York City on May 7th. Our assembly time is 11:30 to 12:30 on Broadway between West 31st and West 32nd Street. It's Herald Square. The trains, the local New York City subway trains that there are B, D, F, M, N, Q, and R. The rally time is at 1 to 5 p.m. at Union Square, the South Plaza. That's 14th Street. The trains that are there are the 4, 5, 6, L, N, Q, and R. We'll be giving out Capital District Cannabis Consortium, Repeal Cannabis Prohibition, American for Cannabis t-shirts. We're going to be giving out beach balls during the 420. And at the finale, we're going to be throwing them out to the crowd. So there's going to be a lot of giveaways, a lot of great information, a lot of great speakers there. So you can come and really get a real education on cannabis. Now, we all know that I stand for full repeal, but I also believe in our constitutional rights and freedom of speech. This is a legalization event. There are going to be many legalizers there. Our mission is to educate the legalizers to see where the fallacy is between legalization and prohibition, and that the fact that legalization is glorified prohibition, when repeal is the true freedom. Remember, when the Schaefer Commission was formed in order to evaluate cannabis when it was temporarily placed as a Schedule I drug on the DEA's Controlled Substances Act, the Schaefer Commission came back with a report that stated that cannabis did not cause psychosis. All of the propaganda the government has ever put out was lies and racism, and that cannabis prohibition should be repealed and nullified and removed from the Controlled Substances Act. And instead of doing so, Nixon looked at the report and said, I don't want the American youth smoking marijuana, and threw it away. So once again, opinion outweighed science. And this is something that we need to demand, that we have the full repeal as it should be. We need to let our people out of prison. No prison for pot, no probation for pot, no child protective services for pot, period. Pot is a natural plant. Cannabis is a natural growing plant, and our bodies produce many of the same cannabinoids found in this plant, including breast milk. We have a CB1 receptor, we have a CB2 receptor. We produce cannabinoids in our body. What's next? Are they going to legalize that? Are they going to legalize or regulate how much cannabinoids you can have in your body? There's only one cannabinoid in the plant that we don't naturally produce, and that's the THC, which gives you the chill factor, the nice suave, you can get your mind together and expand it effect, which causes no psychosis and does nothing adversely to the human body or psyche. Now, what we need to talk about for this parade is we are assigning marshals to the parade to make sure that there's nothing that happens. We have a hands-off policy with the New York City Police Department. For over 2 years, we have not had one single arrest at the pot parade. It's a great time. There's a lot of great minds there. I welcome you all to come travel with us down to the 2016 New York City Cannabis Parade. It's going to be an epic event, and we are expecting it to be the biggest turnout in history. We do have speakers coming this year besides myself. There's quite a few. Dana Beal, of course, will be there. Aaron, the Pie Man K, will be marching with the Capital District Cannabis Consortium. We'll have many people, including Libertarian Mike McDermott, running for Senate. We'll also have some members from the Green Party that are there to support the full repeal of cannabis prohibition. There's going to be, so far, we've been confirming artists. Lord Digga, the Heisman, with the family and the friends, is confirmed to play. We also have a lineup of some wonderful artists that I'm sure you will enjoy. So please, don't miss the New York City Cannabis Parade. This is the time when you can come forward and stand up for what you believe in. Thanks for watching Capitol.
They made their way from Midtown to Union Square, all while voicing their support for legalizing the use of marijuana. Members of law enforcement were among the marchers.
We are calling for the legalization and regulation of all drugs.
Supporters also included politicians.
Seeing the adverse effects that the drug laws have had in New York, especially on minority youth of color, also people who are terminally ill are not getting access to marijuana, which can help them live a more comfortable life. So I think it's important that we stand here and say that we should follow what other states are doing.
The parade comes months after the mayor and police commissioner changed the NYPD's policy on marijuana. Under the change, those found in possession of small amounts of marijuana are being given a ticket instead of being arrested. The state is also changing its policy on medicinal marijuana, but it doesn't go into effect until next year. Still, some use the parade as an opportunity to light up and say the parade served as a way to better educate the public.
There's been a lot of negative propaganda. I hope we can combat that with information and dialogue.
I've been going to wound care treatments for about 10 years. And I've been smoking pot almost daily. And it does help quite a bit. It helps with my circulation.
But there were also opponents. Rather than legalizing marijuana, the group Capital District Cannabis Consortium wants it removed from the DEA's Controlled Substance Act.
Most people don't know what they say when they talk about legalization. They haven't read the laws. They just hear the word legalization and they think that it's okay, free pass to do whatever.
Organizers say they have several moves planned for the next 18 months in their fight.
We're going to set up a citywide patients cooperative sponsored by the City Council to make $1 a gram marijuana available in New York City.
In Union Square, Aaron Clark, New York 1.
Cannabis can be ingested in various ways besides smoking. You can eat it and you can even drink it. Making Cannabutter is easy, and one of the simplest methods is to use a crock pot. And there's only 3 ingredients needed: butter, water, and cannabis. For every pound of butter, you will need 2 cups of water and 1 ounce to 1.5 ounces of leaf bud material. Set the crock pot on low, cube the butter, then add it to the crock pot. While the butter is melting, crush your leaf bud material using a crusher grinder works best for large quantities. I didn't have one, so I had to improvise with a lot of crushing, a whole lot of crushing. Anyway, when the butter is melted, or at least partially, add the leaf bud material, stir it up, add the water, stir it, and cover it. Keep the crock pot on low. You don't want to boil the butter, as that will kill the THC. Unless you want medical, boil it all you want. Crock pots are great for maintaining a low, even temp. I usually let it simmer for about 8 hours or so while stirring occasionally. When it's ready, you strain the plant material, which is no good anymore. Just throw it away. Strain the butter into a big plastic container using a cheesecloth. That works great, but I didn't have one, so I had to improvise with the strainers, and I thought the small containers were cute, which turned out to be a pain and a big mess, but whatever. After everything is in the containers, put them in the fridge overnight. The butter will harden and the water will separate. The next day, take the containers out and flip them over and scrape the waste off. Do it over a bowl or sink. It's messy and the separated water smells like bong water. This is why I said just use a big plastic container initially, then scrape off the waste. You can warm it up again and pour it into whatever containers you want and re-refrigerate or freeze them, which is what I should have did from the beginning. The finished butter can be used in any recipe that requires butter or oil, such as cupcakes and cakes.
When I step outside, it's something that I can't help but say. Such a beautiful day. Sun's going and the wind is blowing, and I hope it never goes away.